Washington Republican Congresswoman Cathy McMorris Rodgers joins me now to talk about what's happening overseas. And, it's not only roiling the markets, Congresswoman, it's concerning a lot of Americans who have family in the military that are worried about having their family members drawn into a conflict in Europe. Is that a concern to your constituents?
For sure. This is a concern that we would be drawn into a conflict due to Putin's aggression in Ukraine and also due to policies around energy that have empowered Putin. So at the very time that America has been shutting down American energy, that only benefits Putin, and that's made him emboldened to take more action. Since Biden took office, we've been shutting down American energy, shutting down our pipelines, becoming more dependent upon even Russian oil and natural gas here in the United States, as well as Europe becoming more dependent upon Putin. And you think about the times in which we're living, it is time for us to flip this switch. It's time for us to say yes to American energy, which would help push back Putin and save our lives, save our precious men and women that are in the military, their bloodshed versus oil in the ground.
Well, in the meantime, you have one of our allies overseas that many people say has been compromised by their relations with Putin, particularly on the pipeline deal. That's Germany, of course. Vice President Harris is going over to Germany. It's a very delicate issue, the intrigue over the political conflicts of interest that Germany has with Russia. Do you think she's the right person to send over to deal with that?
Well, I think that we need to be tough on Putin. We know that he is using energy to manipulate his power and to assert his power, whether it's with Germany and Nord 2 and Stream, and it's clear that there's Germans who have relationships with Russia that are very close, and they're more interested in appeasing Putin than actually doing what's best for the Germans or the Europeans. Putin is the one that for many years has been funding NGOs, the non-government organizations in Europe that are anti-fracking, educating Europeans as to the dangers of fracking. So there's no fracking in Europe, and they're dependent upon Putin and these pipelines into Europe. And at the same time, the United States, unfortunately, in the last year under the Biden administration, has been further shutting down our American energy, which is only making it harder for Ukraine and Eastern European Union countries. We'd like to be exporting our natural gas into that region so they're not dependent upon Putin.
How far, I mean, you have intelligence available to you that most of us don't have. How far do you think Russia is going to go into Ukraine? I mean, do they go beyond Ukraine to other areas of Eastern Europe? Some people have mentioned the Baltics. Of course, the Baltics, unlike Ukraine, are a member of NATO, so we would be obliged to go in there to help if they do. But is that a concern that if he goes into Ukraine, he won't be satisfied, that it'll extend his reach even further?
I'm certainly concerned that Putin feels emboldened, whether it's Ukraine or beyond Ukraine. What I know is that Ukraine wants their independence. They want self-determination. And I believe that the United States, with helping with energy, for example, could help deter Putin from his aggression in Ukraine and beyond. Putin wants to control the Black Sea. That's where we export our natural gas to Ukraine and into Eastern Europe. Putin wants to cut off the Black Sea so that American energy cannot get into that region. It's energy that really could help avert this action by Putin into Ukraine and beyond.
Well, just imagine this situation if we still had the energy independence that we had just a year and a half ago. I mean, it would have changed the dimensions of the entire conflict in many ways. Congresswoman McMorris, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We need to flip the switch.
Absolutely.
Get our energy back on.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.